What's new?
It's not going to end anytime soon. And Trump, he can't run from this because what president doesn't get invited to do a commencement speech? Like, just think about it. It's everywhere he goes, he's going to get disrespected. And we already know he can't take it because he even said when the president went to Cuba and the Castro didn't meet him at the airport, he would have turned the jet around. When the president went to China and they didn't roll out the red carpet, he would have turned the jet around. He can't take stuff like this.
Yeah.
And this is going to be his life. I hope every day for 4 years. Every time he makes a public appearance, I hope it's like this.
You know what?
Like they underestimated that the same way they created a visceral reaction in that low income.
Yep.
In that low income.
What I said earlier.
In order to win, the same way they created that visceral reaction on that end, they created the complete opposite visceral reaction on the other end. That of dissent.
And you know what the difference is?
And people who don't like him that much, that are afraid of what he's going to do that much, that they are willing to protest
and
say,
the
you
next,
know what? Even though you were elected, we still will not accept you.
And you know the
and
difference?
We are not going to take this.
Here's the difference: the next don't protest. They don't get out of the hills in the country to come protest.
Right?
They don't.
They just chilling. They straight.
So they'll go to the rallies and wait in line for 3 hours.
All right, devil's advocate. What do you guys think the moderate, the silent person, the closet Trump supporter is thinking about these protests? I'll give you what my take is. They're gonna be like, no, not scared. They're going, well, yeah, kind of scared.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, well, you know, you're supposed to keep family business. Now you know the enemy and all these foreigners. They wait for the weakest points in American history and in times of turbulence to attack. We should come together as a group. You know what I'm saying? And not be showing our asses on TV like we're divided, because now we're showing a weak front, to the world.
Yep.
And it is as false as I know that is, because if the world doesn't, I think if we were silent and the world's like, oh, so the rest of y'all MF is co-signing with all this stuff he's saying, that's what I'm thinking. But what do you think they're thinking?
I think they're scared. I think the way that some blacks were scared and even hesitant to get on with the Black Lives Matter movement because of the affiliation and the backlash and how you be viewed.
Yeah.
I think they're about to be the same.
Okay.
Like, the people are not going to... The racist whites don't care, but the worst thing you could do to a white person right now is call them a racist. Period.
Because we just talked about that. That's their worse than getting called a nigger for us is calling a white person racist.
It used to be a badge of honor, not anymore. It's the worst thing that you could be called or associated with is be called a racist. And now the people that are associated with Donald Trump, we know it's a bunch of them that we don't even know yet. They ain't raised their hand or stood up.
And just like Black Lives Matter, Mike said with the Trump supporters, it's not a wide paintbrush, but like Black Lives Matter, they will all be under the same racist Trump umbrella, and they all will have to pay.
And that's what their biggest fear is.
Yep.
Wow. Well,
I mean, I think that honestly, I think that they're sitting there and they're like, you know what? They should, good for them. Or they're saying that, but they know that, oh man, they're still fighting for that. They really didn't like him that much. I think that they're kind of surprised by it. Probably wow, people really didn't like this dude that much. They're protesting now. Like, man, maybe I shouldn't have voted for this guy.
Right. That's it right there.
And now it's the guilt.
Louse, you said the dude. The dude said that he didn't think he would win. So imagine your feeling right now that you were
exactly, and that
you were responsible for something that you didn't expect to happen, and now your name is on it.
Yeah,
right. And now you're sitting there, and you're like, "Wow, this is a direct result of what's happening right now." And these people really did not like this dude, and these people are really afraid. And they're feeling guilty, and just like Lance said, and they don't want to be labeled racist, and that's killing them.
Yeah, because they want to be
they're going to be painted with their. We're not, because
they want to be
just
good,
like
just
no one's qualifying anything. You voted for them, you getting painted with the broad brush.
And is this unprecedented? I think you asked this earlier, Creek, because
I asked if that ever happened.
I've never seen this before.
I have this unique.
I thought it might have happened with. I actually thought it might have happened with Nixon, but no, it didn't. It didn't happen with him. It didn't happen with.
I thought we were going to see this with Obama,
But-
and I thought
But
Obama
it
was going to
didn't
get
happen-
assassinated
That's what I was about
first.
to say. It didn't even happen with Obama.
No, but here's
from
the,
the other side.
but this is the
But it
difference.
didn't
Like you said, because,
It didn't happen
but
with-
that's just like what Lance said. Though.
Next
They're
don't
not gonna-
protest.
They don't
next
protest.
They don't protest.
They don't
Right.
protest.
They said it
But I
happened with
think-
like Nixon or Reagan, but it was because of the wars, not because of their
Right.
character.
That was a war protest. Yeah,
not because of their character.
Those were war protests. But I think the way they're feeling right now, a white moderate person more than likely is feeling scared for a multitude of reasons. Scared because they don't know what this could morph into, and also scared that it's going to be revealed that they were a Trump supporter. If they haven't revealed it, if they have not revealed that, and that's something that they're trying to hold close to their chest, they're scared that that's going to be revealed. And then definitely, the guilt sets in, to echo what Kristen said, because now you really feel bad. Like, that's exactly when.
And
when
that
you
question
call-
is actually a
when you
part
call
of
them a
everyday
racist,
conversation.
That's what they feel. They feel sorry and they feel guilty and they feel bad for their
But
actions.
that's the thing. But that's the thing about the moderate whites, though, is that the moderate whites operate out of this kind of fear factor because
Right.
because fear drove them to vote for Donald Trump too. Because I honestly think that once this Black Lives Matter happened and
Yeah.
the racial tension started to bubble up,
It was a perfect
they were
storm.
stuck in the middle and they leaned more towards wanting to be safe.
martial law, law and
than
order.
anything
He got
else.
their ass too.
And-
That was a good
and-
speech on his
and-
part. Then
And they didn't give the black community enough credit to be able to deal with what was happening in a civil way, that they thought that once racial tensions bubbled up that we were just going to become visceral animals and they were just going to break out and protest and riot and all of that.
and who was going to
And so
protect you?
they
Hillary
did-
Clinton with rappers or Donald
Right.
Trump and,
And
David
who-
Clark?
Exactly. Exactly.
But
And so
here's the thing. I
and so
think
there
they
was
really.
there was a
go ahead,
visceral fear of that, but there was just a fear. It was crazy because they allowed a fear born out of a complete
Manufactured fear.
right, a manufactured fear,
Propaganda.
based off of false,
But no,
based
it's
off
not.
a false perception of what would have happened because
But
the
I don't
group
think
that
it's
was-
always I don't think it's always a manufactured fear. I think at the root of the average white person, I truly feel that there is that belief that at some point black people are finally going to get it together
And
We're
get
finally
actually
gonna
be woke
mobilize,
besides a hashtag
and we're
and
going
turn
to
on our
come
ass.
back and we're going to enslave them and fully get our reparations for what
Jesus
was done
Lord,
to us. Our ancestors.
those are doomsday preppers.
No, they may be doomsday preppers, but at the same token, when they see this happening, Lance, you gotta look at the TV screen, bro. Like when you see that happening, and you already have that belief in the back of your mind,
Yeah, I can kind of. I
just
can
reaffirm,
But slave?
reaffirm it.
not
I know,
that
I
far,
think
but I
that
can
they
see.
have-
I can see a white person getting afraid, like seeing a bunch of black people rise up, college educated, not just thugs anymore. Like you got Crips and Morehouse graduates together, and it's like happens to be a fire. Then you happen to have
No,
a couple snipers, and you like shit. Like
Yeah, but see, I would say that then we're about to take over their jobs and their world, not like enslave them.
Right. Well,
But yeah,
not
even
not
though-
in that. Not let me back up. Not in the literal sense, but in the sense that you just said it. So not,
Gotcha.
we're gonna put you out there in the field.
Remember you
and
said
gonna
competition.
No, not like
Yeah,
that.
the competition.
competition.
Right.
But I also think there's still a very underlying innate just fear of. I think there's still an innate perception of black equals violent.
Yes.
So I think that plays into it a big part. Even us, I think they feel like that there's always a tipping point to where we just going to show a true nature of violence.
Yep.
That violence is the true nature of black people.
Absolutely.
That's-
And so
Oh,
that so ultimately they think that you're going to get to that point somewhere. Even the most educated of you will get to a point where you've broken and now you just want to act out and you won't be able to
It's
control
the
it.
strangest thing.
You're
'cause
not.
We don't like hunt and kill things for fun and leisure. Like
Right.
that's like we're not
Right.
naturally violent people. But it's just like one of those perceptions things where they truly think we're like barbaric people who like to kill and hurt people.
Let me ask
and
you
we're
this.
just naturally aggressive.
If you cheating on a girl, like if you like in a relationship, not married, you cheating on a girl. You ever notice how if you just cheating on this chick, you always suspicious when she go out?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because you're doing dirt, right?
Right.
So you expect the same reaction based on like what you're doing, even though she doesn't know or you think she doesn't know. Same thing with white folks. They're like, look, a sensible reaction would be to be extremely angry, and when you find out what the real is, I would, beat the hell out of me or attack. So I'm assuming that these Negroes, when they find out, they will too. Yeah. Like that, I think that's how they're thinking. They're like, look, man, like the amount of stuff we've done to them as a people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Would elicit, that reaction, even though they're not giving us enough credit for having enough sense to not react in such a way. I mean, that's just what I think, man.
Yeah.
And I use the fear all the time. Like when I go into businesses and stuff and people say anything to me, like the taller and black you are, like I don't argue with no white people. As soon as they see my face turn, I already know. I just use the fear against them. I be like, look, I'm not in the mood. Shut down.
But you know what? To Donald Trump's credit, though, this is to Donald Trump's credit. He's a salesperson. You know the best way to sell stuff is by fear.
Yeah.
Think about it. How do people sell alarm systems for your house? By the fear of someone kicking in your door and robbing you in the middle of the night. Like that's how you sell stuff. You sell it on stuff that can happen to them.
Right. And President Obama. And President Obama did the exact opposite. He sold it on love and hope.
It's harder to sell somebody based on optimism and the best that can happen versus like the worst. You prepare for the worst, right? Versus like, rainbows and sunshines. Like if we do this, then everybody's going to be marching in the same direction. Everybody's going to get ahead. Versus like if you don't do this, then this is going to happen. They're going to come and take your guns. They're going to take your jobs.
Ooh.
They're going to do all of these things if you don't do this. And that's what stokes up the fear in people. And that's what he was, by nature, he's a salesperson, and he knew that. So I have to give him credit for it. I mean, I think it's horrible.
Yeah.
Because he knew what he was doing. And then now we've got what we have. And this is unprecedented.
Yeah, he did a great job selling it. And I tell a lot of people without sales experience, and especially a lot of women and feminists and stuff, they just don't get it.
Yeah.
I had a post on Facebook today talking about how Hillary just didn't fit the bill, like her fashion, and even her having to rely on Obama so much because Obama's swag is just Obama's swag is so off the charts, it's ridiculous. But when he tried to impart that on Hillary, it came off as arrogant. You remember the little shimmy she used to do and her overconfidence in the debates and stuff? It was just not natural at all. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Donald Trump did stuff that I would do if I was trying to like sell a mortgage or a car. And I tell people like, man, he had a great debate. They be like, no, he imploded because he was upset. I was like, no, he was tapping into people's like aggression. It might have seemed like just buckshot to y'all, but I saw exactly what he was doing. He played Hillary them second and third debates, like straight up.
Yeah, see, I think he was terrible. I think he's just he was being himself, which is losing his cool.
But you got to think about his audience too, though.
Yeah, but his audience.
But regardless of what he was going to say, it wouldn't have mattered. His base was already shored up. Like it wouldn't have mattered, and he just expanded.
There's no line.
He expanded, and she imploded.
There's no line that he can cross for real. Like he could say nigger, and that wouldn't turn anybody off. He could say, I'm going to grab somebody by the pussy, and that won't turn anybody off.
Because he's not Hillary.
Yeah, he can say that Mexicans are rapists, and it won't turn anybody off. Like he can say and do whatever he wants.
Whatever.
It's amazing. Defraud people of money from his fake school. He can deny people housing.
That's how they view winners, man. That's how they view it. That if you're considered a winner, you get that type.
Why do you think Ponzi schemes are so successful?
Well, let me ask you this: all of you guys are black men. Let's just say hypothetical.
Last time I checked,
you were on tape, on videotape, not even audio tape, so we can even see that it is you that said it. Video and audio tape of admitting to sexual assault, and then let's just say you have 12 or so women corroborate that story of exactly what you said. What do you think happens to you?
I'm not on this podcast right now.
I'm not on. But you're going to be sounding just like this through that glass, though.
That's the craziest shit. That's the craziest thing. Like, seriously. He literally
orange jumpsuit
admitted to something, and then someone corroborated his story. And they still believe that he said it. What he said wasn't true. It was just a locker room banter. But I digress.
Hey, that dude, he told us early, though. He said, I could go outside in Times Square right now and shoot somebody, and I still won't lose any supporters.
Yeah, because Tamron Hall said that she told that to Scott Bell.
Every time something came up, though, they deflected. They would deflect back towards Hillary.
Emails,
so as soon as they came out with the sexual assault charges on him, he said, "Oh, Bill was doing this," and he threw it right back to them.
So you forgot about his favorite one.
his deflectionary tactics were crazy.
Yeah, it was like, what
'Cause he
about
just
what
kept-
about the pussy? But ISIS. I was like, damn. Like, shit, that was a hard turn.
But ISIS beheading people.
Right.
What about me?